words, and welcome back to LARPs and Tarps. I am Tom, and we are joined by the wonderful Alex.
Hello.
The illustrious Morgan.
Hello.
And the chaotic Chloe.
Hello.
How are we doing tonight?
Whoop, whoop.
What were the hand movements?
I like to speak with my hands.
This is an audio medium. No one knows what you're talking
There
about.
were a lot of hand movements, listeners.
Some gesticulation from the corner.
What's this motion, Chloe?
Censor that out. Censor that out. Can't publish that.
I'm sorry, I was trying not to laugh.
Well, you fucking failed, didn't you?
Oh, welcome back, everyone.
So how are you doing, my giggly geezers?
Oh, excellently.
Gotta love a Tom intro, haven't you?
A Tom tro.
It was actually
Tom
fine. It was
outro.
me. It was
Maybe
me.
you're the problem, Chloe.
Maybe you're Chloe.
No.
What is
No.
this?
I don't want to be Chloe. She's the worst.
Fucked up, frankly.
Well, as Tom mentioned, welcome back to LARPs and Tarps. And today we're going to be discussing the rest of E1, aren't we?
Well, most of it. I think we're doing Saturday, maybe Sunday if we can.
Yeah, we'll see how we
We'll
go.
see how it
Right,
goes.
was it a quiet one for you guys? In what planet are we getting Saturday, Sunday done?
Yeah.
Yeah. We say this every time and never do. So, was it battle for you lovely folks?
Yes.
Twas.
It was monstering for me. And
Never mind.
you're building up to a
Sorry,
sneeze.
I was about to sneeze, and it left. Oh, we can keep this in.
Yeah, very last minute we were like, yeah, well, just general monster. And then the call of the EMU hit. It's like, wait for us, guys.
Yeah, no.
Love EMUing.
We were fighting. The objective was get some timber.
We were fighting the Grendel. So do you guys want to give us a rundown of the kind of shtick of the field?
We were not fighting the Grendel, my good sir.
Oh, no, it was the wait.
children of the
That's
Rex. They were basically hey, the Grendel were working with Siaka, and a bunch of the Grendel went, do you know what? I really like Siaka, and they broke off from the Grendel, and now they control part of the Brass Coast. I can't remember which bit.
There's any brass coast
Madruga?
left?
I think it's Madruga.
What was the place we fucked up last
Madruga.
year? Ah, fair enough.
Yeah, I think because there's a bunch of shark cultists there now. We had to go get some timber. You're the military council head, Chloe. What happened? Why did we need timber?
Because the Empires are fiends for wood.
Thank you very much, Chloe. So we need...
I don't know.
Or do you need me to go kind of through it? Because I semi-know.
You know what's going on.
Yeah, because
Go
I'm a
for it.
monster. Basically, if you did not get these enchanted bits of timber, then some horrible spell effects were going to happen. I think it was this big fucking ritual to cause natural weather disasters.
Oh, that does
would have
sound familiar, actually.
Really fuck up
I'm sure it does.
Madruga even more. Because you've already got Siaka Heralds, and how many Krakens were born there last year?
Too many.
Too many Krakens.
Also, isn't Madruga the one that's been completely rechanged by spring magic and there's weird man-eating albatrosses and stuff?
I don't know, but that sounds feasible.
Yeah, no, it was fairly simple. We got ready to go in Dawn. Wing lines as always. We were kind of we went in towards the back because there's no need for us to be at the front, and we didn't want to wait at the gate for an hour, so we kind of ambled up towards the
Well,
end.
if I was to ever trust someone with wood at my rear, it'd be you, Morgan.
Thank you, I appreciate that. How was the fight for you guys?
Well, it was kind of a little bit less enthused than usual because as Navarre, it wasn't really our fight. So we had our usual muster. And as we were kind of walking in, we usually do the blood will flow
The
chant.
cadence.
The cadence. We were silent in our march through Anvil towards the gate, and there was a very solemn, morbid tone to our walk.
Yeah. So at muster, there were talks. People were going to possibly protest and not go through the gate. Yeah, well, I mean, OC reasons aside, the IC reasons, Neve was still going to go through the field because there was a lot riding on her. But, her point was, yeah, we're getting to the point where they're going to know we're unhappy. However, I'm not going to not walk through that gate and let Dawn and Vrishka bleed heavily when they bled for us very heavily at E4, as we know from the sweet glade.
Sweet glade.
Yeah.
Could your glades be any sweeter?
Oh, they could not. But
diabetic glades at this point.
fuck. But yeah, so like my icy reasons were like, it's not our fight and I'm pissed off, yeah, but I've got a duty. We're not just one nation, we are one empire, and if the empire want to forget us, fine, but I'm not going to forget the empire. I'm going to be there to support Dawn and Verushka. So yeah, like Alex said, it was a bit of it was a bit dicey at muster, but it was Rook's first time officially field marshalling since the death of Anwin. Like, they've field marshalled a couple of times, but you know, now that it's them for this time for Navarre. So, you know, kind of being Rook's second, I needed to support them as well. But yeah, so we walked down in silence, but we sang Rivers Run Red when we were at the gate. So that was pretty cool. It was pretty powerful.
Dawn pulled up for a jolly.
Like, yeah, we're just here for a bit of a scrap.
Go here for a scrap. The fight itself was fun at the start. We spawned in the woods, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed, there was one point where me and some Urizeni chased down somebody carrying a plank, which was quite fun. I did enjoy some of the Grendel were doing that classic kind of like, you know, like the pairings of two simple guys in a TV show being a bit bumbling.
Yeah.
There was like, they were walking along with the planks, turned to us, went, and then like scrambled away, which was quite
like
fun.
the smoke.
Yeah, literally, it was quite funny to watch. Them kind of like spin and try to run away. We were with your mates, the Scarlet Guard.
Oh.
And the people you're working for, the Orzels.
The Orzels, that's
So we
next
were
season.
all fighting together. So we had a lot of fun kind of chasing them down. Then we got into the field. Weren't sure why we were in the field. And
Things look like they crumbled.
it was, there was not, I didn't know what we were doing. No one was telling us what we were doing. And we were just kind of running around aimlessly killing people.
Yeah.
Fighting a land shark. I remember I saved a couple of people that got cut off and things. But like, there was... Yeah, it wasn't my favourite fight. I came to the end, I was like, that was fine. Time to go home, I guess.
I feel like at E1, everyone's stretching out their RP and combat legs, getting back into the motions of things.
I don't think it was... I don't know
Were
what...
you hankering for another classic Jotun line fight more?
I just wanted some fun. And it just was like, it just didn't really... I just didn't really feel fun.
Yeah, fair.
It wasn't very dynamic. I don't know what that came down to. But I was just a bit like,
It seemed fine as it started off, but then when we got out onto the field, it just turned into an absolute clusterfuck shit
I didn't know why we were in the field. Like, I was just like, why are we actually here? What are we doing? And no one I asked could tell me.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I agree with both those. In the field was an absolute fuck. Like, wood's fine, but yeah, once we got into the field, there was just no cohesion. There was no communication. It was very confusing. People that should have been communicating were nowhere. And I suppose that's my job as a line captain then, is to, if I've not got orders, to make my own decision and assess. But I was not very sure what was going on. I have not felt that lost on the battlefield for, I think, probably since our first ever Empire, where I didn't understand battle.
And yeah, we were constantly surrounded as well, which didn't help. And then when the land shark would come in, it would just cut us up into pieces. And you never knew kind of which way was up, and every time you turned around, you didn't know whether you were going to see monsters.
God, it turned so quickly.
It went
Yeah.
Land
it turned
shark
into a
would like
bloodbath.
trundle along and then just go, whoom, spin around. I was like, oh my God, oh, it's
And
coming
it's
towards
coming
us.
back.
Yeah.
But like I said, I couldn't see the field to assess what was going on. Like, I felt, I just, honestly, I had no idea what was going on. I was so...
Yeah,
lost.
I think is for me it was a bit tricky because I didn't get anointed, so I was playing into the really bloodthirsty role play, so which made me a difficult noble to look after because I kept running off. It was really funny when we were at Sentinel Gate. They're like, right, you're all here to keep each other alive. Make sure you keep an eye on each other. I think it was like Lady Lordine said that.
Drink.
Oh, for God's sakes! And then I stepped forward and I went, she's saying that to you lot, that doesn't count to me. Your job's to keep me alive. And then we got through the gate and I ran off. It was like, oh, here he goes. But yeah, it was fine. The woods was good fun, but then it just kind of lost momentum for me.
Yeah.
In the field, we had a bit of a tragedy. There was a point where there was a small group of us fighting. On one side of us, we had a land shark closing in, and then on the other side, we had some Grendel? Not Grendel, but you know what I mean.
Children of the Wreck.
Children of the Wreck.
We were being donutted.
Yeah, we got donuted, and then that got pinched. And as it was pinched, Oily popped out, and then I just about popped out, and we managed to find a secure line. And then Murdoch was on the ground, just getting absolutely wailed on. And I tried to get my shield out to get him up, and eventually, I think he grabbed a healer, or he's speaking to a healer, and was like, "Just give me that potion. If I neck it, then I'll be fine." And then he got up, and we stood and looked out at the rest of the pinch, what was left. And on the ground, we saw our dear Dreadshield Ronan being... A founder of the Dreadshields being eaten by Siaka Heralds.
Fuck.
So it took a land shark, Siaka Heralds, and probably about 5 Children of the Wreck to take him down. But that's when, because I was still processing what had happened, and that's when Murdoch put his hands on my shoulders and was like, he's fucking dead. And then Cadwell ran over and was like, we need to organise getting him out of there, a retrieval. But as that was being organised, it became quite apparent that it was too late. Like, he was already getting scranned. He was in bits. So that, I don't know if that really came to fruition, but at least he tried.
Because there was a point where, obviously, like, we were getting pinched very heavily and just no one could see what was going on. It was getting to a point where it was actually dangerous, kind of OC, because the land shark was right there and people were just, like, with the donut, people were just standing on top of each other. Like, I couldn't breathe fresh air because there was just so many bodies around me. I was like, I'm getting I'm not a claustrophobic person, but I was like, oh, I'm very pinched in right now. And I looked at one of the refs and I was like, I feel like this is getting really unsafe. People are stepping on people and tripping over because there is no space. Like, I feel like this is getting unsafe now. And the ref was like, yeah, no, don't worry, we're getting you out of here, it's okay, it's fine. And as I looked at, like, the ref stood in front of the land shark, which is directly in front of me at this point, and I see Orwin on the floor who's screaming my name. I'm like, oh fuck, I need to try and get her. Like, oh shit. But I didn't know that Ronan was only like a few feet away from Orwin. But there were just that many people that I couldn't even see that far in front of me. But luckily, Orwin had managed to be saved. But I just had no idea that Ronan was there as well.
So as Ronan was on the ground getting eaten, someone said something to him. Was it a monster, perhaps, that said something to Ronan while he was dying?
I wonder what they've said. Could you enlighten us?
I can confirm nor deny that I said, well, I'm sorry I don't have a nugget to throw at you, and then ran off. There may have been a cleave thrown at a leg at a very inopportune time. I can confirm or deny that monster had used his cleave on Ronan's very succulent thighs. Honestly, I had no idea about the death till I came up to visit the Dreadshields Happy as Larry later, because as rules has written, you down a player and then you run off again to do something else. They don't let you hover.
Yeah, well, to be fair, he has mentioned since that he feels as though he was already fucked. Like, even without the cleave, he would have probably died. But you certainly didn't help.
I love that Tom was like, oh, that's fun. I got a cleave on someone I know. What a laugh, and ran off. It's like, and then it's like, that cleave killed him.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because Cameo, who goes out with the Dreadshields and works the Bird Bath Bar, also went down, and like, I went to check and all right there. I was like, don't you fucking die on me, you're my bartender, and run off again. Apparently, if I hadn't said that, that brought them the 3 seconds they need to be dragged out, because some Siaka Heralds were going to nom on them as well. So as Tom saves a life, he takes a life, apparently.
The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
It would have been very funny if whilst you saying that the Siaka Heralds did come up to her and eat her alive. You're like, shit.
The Lord just taketh away.
Incredible.
I was going to say, it was devastating for us. Like, we've had some pretty heavy losses. Neve's had some pretty heavy losses recently, but losing Ronan is such a big thing for us, because he was the other second of the Dreadshields. He was a founding member of the Dreadshields, and like, he was our camp mum. So like, we've lost a big character with that, and it was really fucking devastating. Like, I saw Carrot cry, and I didn't think I'd see that in my lifetime. But it was it was really
It was
like. Do you remember
devastating.
when Salt died?
I did. I
Yeah.
still couldn't cry. I don't know why I can't cry at LARP. I just...
But it's more than that.
I saw Rock later that day, and I was like, "What's going on?" They told me. I went, "Should I go see her?" Oh no, that was about the Murdoch thing. No, never mind.
Who did you see?
Rock.
Oh, I thought you said a rock, and I was,
That's what I was speaking to.
I was like, "Why are you talking
it's
to
not
a
just a
rock?"
boulder.
What a change of subject. Well, later that day I saw a rock.
There was this bit of granite on the floor. I was like, "What's going on?" They went, "Dill died." I'm like, "Oh God, what a nightmare!" Send my best wishes. Then will do, and rolled off towards.
To all
Don't know.
all the listeners, I'd just like to confirm it was an E1 prank, bro. Just a prank.
Just a prank,
a
bro.
prank.
Well, he was like, I don't know who it was that cleared me, but they must know who I am. So for those listening that don't know, the Dread Shields have nugs, which are Werther's Originals, not sponsored, that we drop on people when we kill them. So the fact that you mentioned that, he was like, I must know this person to an extent, and I really want to know who it is, but now it's all been revealed. But yeah, it was really sad, and I had to break the news to Leg, which was rough.
But I broke the news to Rook, which was
Well, we lost
scary.
You. We lost you as well. I had no idea where you were, and that's when we came out top gate and ended up walking round. And because we'd lost, a few Navari and Ronan included, I was worried that we might have lost you. And then luckily, as we were walking out, I saw you and Rook walking up, and we managed to rejoin. But yeah, it was horrible.
It's usually... You're the only one I usually get with a strike down as my...
You love
my
going
three.
for me.
It was the first thing I did this battle. You came through the Sentinel gate. I was like, I know that shield. Let's go and strike him down.
The thing is, you're not meant to go for your mates because canonically the monsters.
I'll not accept this feedback from a Dread Shield.
The monster. What?
I will not hear it.
I've never.
I will not hear it.
He's not a Dread Shield.
I will not hear it from the group that wiped out my house in one thing.
We didn't wipe out your
Morgan,
house.
You
Morgan.
killed my Earl.
None of the Dread Shields killed your Earl.
Morgan.
No.
When you came up to me and you said something to me whilst I was bleeding out 2 years ago at E3,
Yeah.
my Earl died.
That wasn't from us, though.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't Dread Shields.
It
I was
was.
with 2 of them.
Well, all right. It was still driven
But it
by
wasn't-
OC knowledge. That's what I
Morgan, have
want.
you also been a victim of Chloe saying, "You lot, let's go and get that
Yes,
one"?
I have.
Because I also have had that.
Anyway, to clarify, I said you're not meant to. I didn't say we do.
To be honest, though, I don't bring a posse. I just go solo hunting.
But however, the amount of times I've been struck down and cleaved by this fucking orc that looks a lot like Tom, I swear to God, next time I'm monstering, I'm just coming for you like a heat-seeking missile.
I saw you once whilst I was monstering, and I was trying to get towards you because I was like, it's fun to fight you.
Yeah, you do it. Yeah,
But then, the battle move, I was like, oh no, someone else killed me. But yeah,
To be fair, I don't think I struck you down at the Sweet Glade Massacre. I couldn't get to you then.
no, that was God. No, I've got trauma from that.
Yeah.
I stood on my friend's head in this battle. It was like there was someone was
Intentionally?
like, so I was like, Tristan, watch out! I turned around and I was like, you're standing on someone's head, and I turned around and it was my mate. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. They'd been like a mid battlefield natter. I just crouched down. They were laughing. I was like, no, it's fine. Honestly, I'm fine. It was just you were getting ever closer.
Oh,
it was
dear.
just really, it was just one of those really funny moments. I was like, we're all playing a silly little game.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
How you doing? I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I'm fine. It's like mad, isn't it? It's like, yeah, crazy time. I've seen a bit.
I stopped the fight at one point because someone stuck a spear directly into my eye,
Yeah.
and it hit my glasses, and my lens popped out my glasses and went flying.
Yeah.
So I was just like, "All right, stop!
Just-
Everyone, just hang on." I like being IC, but I'm not risking a pair of specs.
Yeah,
Until I found the lens, I was like Velma.
It was a fun battle. Also for Grendeling, it was very mid.
I came back through the gate. Shit tons of people I knew had died.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what? It was like an earl had died, several nobles had died. And I was like, when did this happen?
There was a
all went-
couple of extra things that were meant to happen. At one point, there was a bit of an argument because there was a big block standing on the monster spawn point. So there's about 100 monsters needing to spawn back in. But these folks are arguing, well, we're not moving, so they're arguing with the refs about not moving. Well, they'll come and ambush us behind. You don't know they're there, so we couldn't get on the field to harass you or engage you guys until this was done. I believe we were also meant to harass you guys heavily off the field, but a medical emergency or something happened, so you guys got to walk off.
I reckon arguing with the ref should, like, they need to implement a card system somehow. Like, it's not...
Give you a warning, like, you know, the refs are there the refs are there for a reason.
I get it. Some of the refs can be a bit power mad and whatever.
Yeah, but
there should be a system of like, no, I'm telling you what to do the thing.
You're impacting everyone else's game by stopping these monsters spawning in.
Yeah. I can't believe they were literally camping at the spawn point.
Yeah. It's like, put me in, coach. We've been here for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Wah.
I would have just moved the spawn point at that point.
Yeah.
It was very difficult because we're all in deep brush.
You guys like, hands up, everyone. Then just file you into the middle of the field and go, hands down.
Oh, if you imagine if they were really better, hands up, everyone. You stay there and just surround them. There we go. Isn't that nice?
There's a weird popping noise and then 100 children of the Rex appear around you.
Cowabunga.
Yeah, there was just in the field. I was just thinking, I was reminiscing, but it was really fucked. Like, there was a point where I was like, someone had said, "Oh, we're having a slow retreat soon," and then someone else was like, "Oh yeah, no orders." These weren't the runners, so I wasn't gonna listen to them. But they were like, "Oh yeah, no, you're to hold." I was like, "I'm not holding here. Like, we're getting absolutely wrapped. Absolutely not." I was like, "We're gonna take a slow retreat back," but I was not gonna retreat until the Dornish block that were next to me were gonna retreat, because otherwise we would just leave them high and dry. So I was sending people to go and find whoever was in charge of Dawn over, like, to us. And I was like, tell them we're leaving, but we're not leaving without them, but we're leaving now, so get a fucking move on. I was like, I'm not prepared. I was like, I'm not leaving Dawn, but I'm getting out of here. So tell them, pick up the pace, let's go.
Yeah.
And I think, like, me doing that, like, a couple of Dornish people came up to me as we were walking through Top Gate, and they were like, thank you for not leaving us back there. We would have been absolutely fucked if you hadn't. I was like, well, I mean, we would have been fucked if you had left. You would have been fucked if we had left. That's why we left together. We're considerably less fucked.
Yeah.
All in all, you got the planks, though?
Yeah, we got 3.
At one point, I saw a bunch of Navari holding it above their heads, like in this real Neanderthal manner, like they
Tusken
just
Raider.
hunted a boar or something. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So we almost got a 4th plank, like, at the side of the field, but we didn't manage to do it
You
in the
only
end.
needed the 3 to stop the ritual.
Yeah. So, but we almost had a 4,
Yeah.
a 4th, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean that was our experience of the fight, and then we headed back because obviously there was a lot of sadness with Ronan's somber news with the loss of Ronan. So we all just kind of dawdled on back to camp, and a little bit more morbid than we were when we walked in. But what about you, Morgan? How was your post-fight?
Yeah, like I said, found out a bunch of people died. Never good.
Is there any events that most of Dawn don't just die?
It wasn't most. It was just like, it was mostly like key people I knew that had died.
I'm getting concerned about signing up with you guys again.
Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die.
For cash.
But yes, I kind of ambled back to Dawn. Spoke to the people we'd lost, which sucked. One house lost an earl, so speaking to who I now believe is their current earl. And then began canvassing to be senator.
Ooh.
So started making my way around to the different Weir water houses. So the way voting in Dawn works is that nobles from the territory that's up for election can vote in that election. So Weir water nobles can vote. If you change your territory, so let's say if you're voting in Weir water, you can't then change to be from Astolat and vote next season. You can only vote once per kind of year. But I went around a bunch of houses, Weir water nobles, chatting to people who would be able to vote, because there's part of it saying like, oh yeah, I'll support you. The other thing is like making sure that they are there to vote.
Yeah. It's like herding cats.
Yeah. So I'd gone round to canvass people and try and get people to vote for me, and was talking about the kind of things I want to do, which I won't talk about here because I guess that's kind of me canvassing.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say what I said, but was going around talking to people about who would like to vote for me. A really nice thing that happened was there was somebody else that was going to be standing, And then when they found out that I was standing, they stepped out of the race and they spoke to me and they were like, can I talk to you about what you could do as senator? And they were like, good, happy with that. And they stepped out of the race for me to run. So that was kind of what I did until the election at 2:30. So I don't know if people want to fill the gaps between battle and 2:30. Have you got over to anything in that point?
Well, straight after battle, I was supposed to be part of a farming ritual that Grundfos was organising. He's really positively helping the farmers in the nation in order to bolster their kind of their yields. But I didn't go because I didn't want to miss Ronan's funeral. I didn't want to miss sending him away, so we did that a little later on. But I think afterwards just kind of chilled at camp up until then, eh?
Well, I had to check on the bar. Unfortunately, the person who doesn't run, who usually runs the Boar's Head, couldn't make it to this event, but it was too late to cancel all the orders. So a lot of my game was making sure the bar had staff, trying to make sure people getting breaks, sorting out orders. So that took a lot of my game time. However, I did find some time to go and check on my friends at the Dread Shields and make sure everyone came back okay. Apparently not, because when I came up to say Chloe said, Tom, did you say this to Rowan? It's like, I don't know if I did. What did I say? Oh, that was me. Why? And then you just kind of pointed at the body and said, you need to leave the camp now.
Well, I pointed away from the camp and I was like, you need to go. Like, leave camp right now.
What have I done?
I was just berry picking.
I just picked a very nice berry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I was a bit flustered because I didn't actually think that was the thing, but yeah, I left before the funeral.
Cool.
Yeah, I didn't stay for the funeral.
Yeah, well, we had the funeral later on in the day in the end.
Yeah, but other than that, like I say, I was running the bar, had to check in with Radic about something. I got gifted the mask of the Prince of the Crimson Reapers, Cicero, last year. I got invited to the Wake at 5. Now, I was thinking, do I want to go as guised as Cicero, doing a bit of a pretend, I'm him, like yada, big sleeves and whatnot, for a bit of fun. But I wanted to check in with Radic that would be okay. Glad I did, because they wanted a more somber, traditional event. Tasteful event. So I will say this to every player. If you want to come up with a great idea, but want to integrate it into someone else's game, something that's big, please do always check in with them, because they might have something very serious and very important to their group. So I'm glad I went to check on that. But yeah, I didn't really have much on until you guys came running by my camp looking for certain things.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to talk about the election and then I can talk about my skirmish and then we can get onto that, can't we?
Hell yeah. So what happens is there's a massive tournament before the voting, which actually used to be how we used to elect senators until 2019. Massive tournament to decide who's going to be the Knight Protector of Winter. Who won that now? Oh, yes. I don't know the IC, but a friend of mine won that tournament. And at the end, we all go into the Glory Square. All the candidates go into the Glory Square. There was a miniature hustings beforehand, so people could ask you questions about your policy and what you're going to do.
I heard ninja hustling.
Hustings.
Oh.
Ninja hustling sounds more fun.
I love some ninja hustling.
Going to the Glory Square, and there was two candidates. There was Lord Tristan Dulac, myself.
Boo.
What a douche.
And Apollon Applefell, a Yo-Folk from House Castellan. Now, Yo-Folk can technically run to be senator because it's against imperial law to make it otherwise, I think. But they can't vote. And so there was people assembled at the Glory Square, and we did little speeches about what we wanted to do. And I gave my speech about kind of like, I'll let Apollon go first, and they spoke about kind of the things they want to do and how they see Dawn. And then I spoke on mine. I said, I'm very much the same, actually. A lot of what they've said I want to echo. And then spoke about other things. I spoke about kind of like unity and things like this. And I spoke about what I wanted to do in Dawn. And what I really enjoyed, I think it's okay if he says, what I really enjoyed about this was that the Castellan Yo-Folk had, clearly his house members had come with him to the field. And then as they called for the election, like a bunch of people stood behind me, and you watched House Castellan because they looked at each other, looked at me, looked at Polly, went, sorry, Polly, and then they went over towards the noble. And I was like, nice little Dornish thing of like, oh, a noble's running. Yeah.
Props to the Yo folk for running.
It was quite cool. There was a bit of like a bit of a discussion in the house of like you could see one person refused to vote kind of thing. So it was cool to watch. It was a cool moment. And then there was I declared myself the winner, which was good. And then Polly came up and was like, "Thank God." Says the Empire Dawn would have lost its mind if they voted for Yo folk, which was a really cool moment. And I was like, I am now senator for Weirwater.
Yay! Congratulations!
Thank
First
you.
Hat and Marks Top.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Is Weirwater the one where House Mercial is based?
House Mercial, Semaholm.
Ah, okay.
I have so one thing that got voted through this summit was that the Blood Red Roads are going to be tolled, which means any benefit you get from Blood Red Roads, you won't get. Semaholm Farmers benefit from Blood Red Roads. If Tristan dies, that toll's still in place. Agravain's going to come to the field fuming. It's like, do you know how much money we make from our farms? What are you doing? This is terrible. This is absolutely disgraceful. But yeah, no, we're Semaholm, but I do like his Weirwater. But yeah, and then literally instantly, 5 people start coming up. She was like, Senator. Like, oh, okay, this is my life now. Senator, there's a Senate session in 15 minutes. Oh no, I had to do a general election, so I had to choose a general. And then I was like, Senator, we've got Senate. I'm like, oh, okay, this is my life now. It's going from...
You have no free time now.
Yeah.
But you might get invited to the exclusive gin club.
I've heard anyone can go to gin club. You just have to pay to get in.
You have no money.
Yeah. Well, I now I'm a
Viridian
noble.
has money.
Now I'm a noble.
Yeah.
It's my money. But yes, that was really cool. That was really exciting. Shaking everyone's hands and thank you very much. I'm really like, I'm a politician now.
Did you see yourself going for this senator hat at E1 ever?
Well, I spoke in the pre-LARP about wanting to take more of a position of kind of leading in Dawn.
Well, you kind of did that very quickly, didn't you?
Well, yeah, exactly. I was like very much like, do you know what? I'll give this a crack. I think this will be a lot of fun. And in all fairness, I've been to 3 Senate sessions now. Really enjoyed all of them. Found them really it's really interesting. Like watching Senate in the gallery versus being in Senate as a voting senator. It's like a really different experience. So it's really cool being there and be like having to listen to all the issues and vote and stuff. And then having to like talk about who's going to be the general for the different armies and stuff. But yes, it was very cool.
Lovely.
Very enjoyed it. Very enjoyed it.
Very enjoyed it.
Very much so.
Very much indeed.
About 3 o'clock, well, not about 3 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, I was on a Valorn skirmish that was being organised by one of the Embercast lot, Griffin, who is now the... What's the name? Strategos for Navarre. There we go, that's the words. But yeah, so he had a 3 o'clock Valorn skirmish and had asked if I wanted to go and bring some of whoever I wanted, really. He was like, whoever you want to bring, you're on. Like, just, bring whoever. So I took whichever Dread Shields wanted to come. And I also had toddled on over to Wintermark and asked some of our friends at the Blood Tusks from Corvinhall. Are they Corvinhall?
They're like, I got corrected on this. Apparently, they're not Corvinhall.
Okay.
So only Drew is Corvinhall.
Okay.
Andrew and Kieran are Blood Tusks, which just camp with Corvinhall, but their previous characters were Corvinhall.
Okay, right. Well, it was mostly the Blood Tusks then. But yeah. So I asked them because we had gone on a skirmish with them last year, which was really good. So I was like, I thought I'd repay the favour and give them a skirmish. Plus, I know they're always up for a bit of a scrap. So that was really nice. So I had them come along and the skirmish went perfectly. It was, like I said, it was Valorn 1. There were enemies there which people couldn't remember the names of. They were like, oh, we haven't seen these for a while. And I have no idea what they were.
What do they look like?
There was some confusion on the field because they were wearing masks of something. They were like, oh, no, they're these things because they didn't have a mask for the thing that we were seeing.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I imagine it's the bug guys, what they call.
Yeah.
The ones that were put behind the big door in Lorenzo's hole.
Did they begin with an N?
No.
No. Well,
Well, maybe they did, but that's not what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Trigoni.
Maybe.
No. Trigoni were like basically... PD did a bit of plot to get rid of them because they were like, the costumes have died. So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. I don't know. But there were some enemies I didn't know. Then there was, the big, like beetle guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there, but I don't think he was what he was. I don't know. I don't actually really know a lot about a lot, funny enough.
Ettercaps.
Yes, that sounds familiar, but maybe they were saying that it's not what they were.
So Valorn, in places where the Valorn is particularly potent, you can often get Valorn infused. You can get spring infused bugs.
Yeah.
Which might have been what that is.
Maybe. That sounds familiar, but they were either saying that's what they were or people thought that's what they were and they were like, no, it's something else.
Were they shattering weapons?
Yeah.
Because I know that some of them can shatter weapons.
Honestly, man, I have no idea. I don't pay attention. I don't know what's going on.
You say that, but you were the most attentive to military matters, which is very worrying for us.
Well, it's because I haven't attended military council for the past 2 events properly. Like I've popped in every now and then, but just so much has been going on that I've just not had the time to commit to military council. But
Sure.
I now have to commit a lot more time to military council because I kind of touched about this on Sunday, but I'm now an unofficial adjutant to an adjutant. So
You are the adjutant's adjutant.
yes, so I now do have to start paying attention, actually learning this stuff and figuring out what the fuck is going on. Which, like, it's good
Join
because
your meeting, losers.
I don't mind military council, but it's just
I mean, it's okay.
It's fine.
it's just bro, like it's just
Bro, dude, it's just
like it's just
wouldn't get it.
I'm not about this system, man.
You wouldn't get it, Morgan. You're not allowed in military council.
It's now illegal for me to be in military council.
I thought that was just senators.
here's a
I am a
senator.
senator.
Oh,
Weren't you listening to his 15 minutes of glory?
I heard the da of da, and I just went yay. Well, I'm proud of you, but I wasn't listening.
Hang on, you only just now learning that I was senator.
Yeah. The
Tom even
words
said it last episode, and we edited it out. I think so.
Yeah.
the words go over my head, but I'm very supportive.
Morgan, you could have said, I just had the best LARP shit. And he went like, yay,
I had
congratulations.
the biggest poo. It was amazing.
No, I get the context. It's
No,
just
I'm
the
glad.
vocabulary.
That was a really funny moment of like, isn't that only senators? Yeah. Yeah, Alex, exactly.
Well, at least I won't forget now.
Yeah.
We're goofy goofers here.
Oh, God, that tickled me. But yeah.
Sorry, your skirmish. It went okay.
Something happened, went for a scrap. It went really well, we left.
I like fighting Valorn. I think they're fun. They're freaky little guys.
And they got big titties.
Big titty
Some of them have
Valorn.
got big titties. Yeah, I love being a Valorn.
I've never thought of the lawn.
They're great.
Other than our Brokelian backstory.
The great thing about the Valorn is they're not a problem until they are. And once they are, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Which happened to us at E3 when I was fighting some Valorn. It's like, oh, this is fine. This is less fine. Oh shit, everyone's dying. But yeah, no, it's fucked. Was there any of like the did anyone say like dryads?
Ooh,
The dryads are the
maybe.
so like you get Valorn spawn husks, which are just like guys with green face paint.
Yeah.
And then you get Briar spawn husks, who have got like bark all on them and are all weird and stuff.
Honestly, it feels so long ago.
Just a blur of vegetation. I like fighting Valorn.
I do like fighting Valorn.
Do you know if
I just like fighting.
if you hit them with a venom, they go down in one shot?
Yeah, that's fine.
Gone. Yeah, it's great. Viridian has a great time because he just goes venom.
And knowing half the battle. And knowing's half the battle.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, after the skirmish, a couple of hours chilling about, and then at 4:30ish, Rook had a little game for us all to play.
It came out of nowhere, eh?
Yeah,
It was like a scavenger hunt.
yeah,
So we broke up off into groups. I was with yourself, eh, Chloe?
Yep.
And Brad and Aiden.
yeah. So there was a bit of confusion with the teams because I originally said I was going to be with some of the other dreads. And then I just bolted off and made a start with the list. And I could hear Rick in the background saying, well, Neve's already gone, so what are you losers still doing here? Because I was just like, whee, I'm going to win.
Ran down the path, skipping all giddy with our sheets of paper, which outlined what we needed for the scavenger hunt. And you kind of split off, eh, Chloe? You were like, I know what I'm getting. I know how I'm going to do this. And I went,
Yeah.
I'm getting it done.
Hoi!
Yeah, I was just, I was so determined. Like my tunnel focus, like my tunnel vision was just honed in, and I had barely made it out of the market, so very close to camp still, and there was an orc walking up, and I had my sword in my hand because I was about to walk into the orc camp because one of the things was a lock of orc's hair.
I thought you were just like, murder. There we go.
In Murder Alley. No, so I pointed at the sword. I was like, "Orc, hello," and he was like, "Why is your sword in your hand?" I was like, "Because I was just about to enter your camp, and I respect your ways." He went, "Okay, I appreciate that. Proceed." I was like, "How much would I have to pay you for a lock of your hair?" And he was like, "Why?" I was like, "I want a scavenger hunt, and I need orc's hair." He went, "All right," and just bent his head down and went, "A crown?" I was like, "Deal." And I was like, "Do you have anything to cut it off?" And he was like, "No, have you got a knife?" I went, "Not one that could cut your hair off." And then I leaned in. I was like, "OC, can I actually cut this?" He was like, "Oh God, yeah." He's like, "Just pull some out." And I tried to, and I couldn't. I was like, "Oh shit!" But luckily, we were right outside the Little Pricks, Thorn's Rest.
Oh yeah.
So I literally just opened Anna's tent, looked in there. Apparently, right next to where I picked this up from was a pair of scissors, but I saw a butter knife. So I pulled that out. So I was there cutting this orc's hair with the bluntest knife ever, just like sawing at it.
I wish the orc should have been screaming. Like, ah!
But
I would have loved, no context, a group of orcs to walk past, like, "Why's you're scalping the thread?"
So cut a bit of hair
It's
off.
for a scavenger hunt, don't worry.
He's getting compensated. So yeah.
Thumbs up.
So cut some actual hair off this orc's Mars. Like, what a guy! Like, I'm so fucking like, what an absolute person for letting me play it, for playing along with it.
Yeah.
But so introduced himself to me. Cannot remember his name for the life of me. And he was like, "Well, if you need anything, you know where to find me." I went, "You know where to find me. Thanks for being an absolute fucking winner." Paid him his crown and off I popped. I was like, I thought that would be the hardest thing on that list. But no, I had barely even made it out of camp, and I was like, right,
So good.
goods acquired, fantastic. So one of the things was Nietzsche's boot.
Yeah.
So I didn't know you were going for this. So I was just going to beeline straight for the jackdaws, and I saw you there already. I was like, cool, right, Alex has got that covered. So I just proceeded on past the league up to the marches, because one of the things was a raw potato. Oh, no, it was just a potato. Oh, the largest potato.
The large potato one, yeah.
The largest potato. It didn't specify raw. So I was like, right, well, I'll go to the fucking marches and I'll head to that place that's selling mash. And I was like, please, by any chance, do you have a mashed potato that's not mashed? He was like, what? I was like, do you have a potato I can buy,
An
please?
unmashed potato.
Yeah, he was like, what? I was like, do you have a potato I could buy? He was like, I've got this one if you want. And it was a very suggestive looking potato.
It looked exactly. It's known now as the scrotato, or the potesticles, because it was the spitting image of a set of balls.
Or an arse cheek if you looked at it.
If you just like opened a small velvet curtain and just showed that potato, you would think it was a pair of balls. It was exactly the same.
So I paid for that, and that was the potato acquired. But yeah, obviously I passed you at Nietzsche's camp.
Yeah, so Brad and Aidan ran down to Nietzsche's for the shoe, and luckily just caught you. And we're like, Nietzsche, we need your shoe. It's for a scavenger hunt. There's no time to explain. And you were like, well, I've got
Sickaro's wake at 5 o'clock.
Well, we
I need
didn't-
it back by then.
We didn't know it was a funeral. We thought you had a meeting or something, probably because I wasn't listening. But I was like, yeah, sure, we'll get it back to you in a couple of minutes. No worries.
And then you told me to take my other boot and put it in my tent so no one else could have
Yeah,
it.
hide it so the other group couldn't get to it. And then, so we got the boot. Another thing on the list was a flower cut.
That wasn't a rose.
That wasn't a rose. And we got the orc's hair.
There was a painting, the largest hat.
two different kinds of menus as well.
Yeah.
So we got one from Hens and one from somewhere else. I can't remember the location.
There were quite a few things on the
Yeah.
list, but anyway, like it was an egg.
An egg. So, and what we headed over to Anna's because we were like, Anna's got everything. including a pair of scissors that would have been much better to cut somebody's hair than the butter knife. I like to think you stuck the hand in the tent and it was like a skit where you were moving your hand around and there were like items all lined out, like a hair trimmer, some shears, some scissors, and then the worst possible option was a butter knife.
I'm thinking of the scene from the Simpsons movie where Homer needs to get in the dome. He sees a jetpack. He goes for the super glues and just passes the way up.
So yeah, ran over to Yana and I was like, Yana, I need an egg. And she didn't even...
Yana, need egg!
Egg me, Yana, now! And she didn't even question it. She was just like, yep. Back in the tent,
Obviously.
produce an egg quicker than a hen. And then said...
It takes 24 hours.
Actually, yeah. Well, yeah,
Make me an egg. Give me a day.
exactly. It was quicker than a hen. That's my main point. I'm very literal. And then the other thing was a flower that's not cut from a rose, and we thought we could cheat by a bowl of flour. So I was like, do you also have a bowl of flour? She was like, yeah. So she got a lovely little wooden bowl of flour, but then luckily we got an actual flour that wasn't cut. There was a point, right? So I had most of the items, and I was stood in the middle of the market, and this little girl walks up to me, and I've got the flour in my hand, not the food flour, flour with a W, the flour, and she goes, "Oh, what's that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a flour. I'll give it to you in 2 minutes. I've just got to go show this to my friend, and then you can have it," because she seemed interested and she wanted it. And then she goes, "What's that?" and points to my other hand. And I'd forgotten what was in my other hand. So I look, and it's the scrotato. but in the same hand, which is now quite sweaty because I've been running around, I also have the orc hair, which is black and kind of curled because Chloe hacked it off with a butter knife. So I've basically just got this hairy set of balls in my other hand. And luckily, I managed to avert my hand so this little girl didn't see it. And I was like, oh, I need to go put these down somewhere.
No.
So we dropped them off at camp. And then I think the last thing we needed was the hat, eh?
Yeah, I provided the hat. It was still attached to a head. But
Oh, the jester.
Yeah.
So remember our player event, Hunter's Feast? You know the jesters that won the best joke competition?
Yeah, I
It
know,
was the same. Yeah.
Excellent.
But yeah, so I literally, because I tried to go to the Reaper camp to get, I was like, right, big hats. Where has big annoying hats? Oh, Radic. Yeah, exactly. So I ran up there and they were like, oh no, he's not here and you're not going to find him. But as I get there, Murdoch and Cricket were there as well. So we're staring each other down and he's like, what are you doing here, Neve? And I'm like, what are you doing here, Murdoch? And he went, nothing. What are you doing? I'm like, nothing as well.
Murdoch's got a pretty big hat.
Who?
Murdoch.
Oh yeah, but not that big. It's just
big enough. Yeah.
no. It's just a cock. But it does have a cock charm on it.
Of course it does.
Yes. So I was like, oh, fuck. Okay. So I was wandering through the league, just up and down the streets of the league. I was like, who's got a big hat that I could just maybe borrow? And then I see the jesters walking. I literally ran up to them. I was like, hello, friends. And they looked at me. I was like, you don't know me, but how could I interest you in paying to borrow your hat for a minute? And they were like, sorry, what? I went, right, so I'm doing a scavenger hunt and I need the largest hat. It's all for a bit. And they were like, oh, yeah, don't pay us. We'll just come with you for the bit. That sounds like an adventure. We're heading to Navarre anyway. So I was like, perfect. On we go. I still did pay them in the end just because I felt bad. But, yeah. It was fucking fantastic. But anyways, there were many things on the list. And we won.
We won. So we didn't win the potato, though, which I'm really pissed off about. Not just the scrotato, because Chloe got the scrotato, or the potesticle, but I went and got a baked potato full of cheese and butter and presented this as and that didn't even win, so I'm holding that grudge against Rook for as long as I live.
How big was the potato?
I don't know, because it was all mashed and full of cheese and butter, so...
No, but the people that won.
Their potato was bigger.
Okay.
What was the prize for this mighty hunt?
It was amazing.
So, Sophia, who plays Rook, had melted down, I think it was like a kilogram of Werthers and melted them into one giant block. So it was just like a gold bar.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was fantastic. So I just took our 10 mallet and just smacked it up into pieces and it was like, have some nugget.
Yeah.
It was so good.
But then, after the scavenger hunt, we had a quick segue into Pipe Club. So me and Oily were very excited about both having our pipes and maybe sitting down and having a little chat and a little, just a chilled time. So we went over to the Marchers because he'd planned to sit down at what turned out to be a library that we weren't very welcome at, which turned into some hijinks, which was quite fun. But we sat there and had like a little bit of a chat. But the owner, bless her, of the library, who's got a business to run, had no idea that this was happening. So there was just a point where me, a lovely Marcher bloke that I met there, and Murdoch were just sat in the middle of this person's business, smoking our pipes, drinking beer and chatting. And she was like, I don't mean to be a dick, but we were like, no, you're absolutely well within your right to tell us to fuck off. So we went over to a bar, a Marcher pub, which was awesome, and sat and smoked our pipes and acted all very fancy, well, as fancy as Navarre can be.
Oh, yeah.
And then Rook came marching up the path and said, is there somewhere you guys are meant to be right now? And we're sat there puffing on our pipes, pondering, thinking, I don't think so. And it was Ronan's funeral, which we were running a little bit late for. Luckily, it hadn't happened yet. Yes, and then we headed on back to camp and got ready for the funeral, but I think we're maybe running out of time here.
We have rambled on a lot, as we tend to do. I was feeling ambitious in trying to get both done today, and I've been proved a fool.
Yeah, but
I knew it.
we've got heaps more hijinks and Saturday night.
Would you say there's going to be some chicanery?
Oh, heaps of chicane. Maybe even some shenanigans
Podcast, I don't believe it.
for the rest of Saturday.
Yeah, but no. Fun times had so far.
Yes.
It's nice to be back at E1.
Yep, keep padding.
Keep padding. So what was your favourite item to get on the
No,
scavenger
don't ask
hunt?
questions. I said keep padding. Hang on.
Oh.
Never mind. No one has... That's fine.
No comments?
No comments. You're all terribly rude.
I mean, it did only go live yesterday.
Frankly... Oh! I was just scratched by a cat. I don't care. Miserable
Podcast
bastards.
Podcast cat.
She needs her own jingle.
She does. Who's that coming? It's Luna.
The cat.
Perfect, I'll use that.
Who's that coming? It's Luna. Luna.
The cat. Shall we round off this week's episode?
Yes,
Yes.
do you want to talk us out?
Thank you very much, everybody, for listening to our podcast. We will be back to talk about the rest of the event soon. But if you would like to support the podcast, the best ways to do that is to like, comment, share, subscribe, tell everyone about our wonderful podcast.
We are pretty cool.
Yeah, word of mouth is the best way for us to kind of for other people to hear about the podcast. Another really good way is if you can leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast.
Some people have already left us 2-star reviews this weekend. 2 5-star reviews.
Have they? Where?
On Spotify. They haven't left a comment though.
Well, that's exciting. But yeah, leave a 5-star review. Really good way to boost more people to be able to see the podcast. If you can leave a little comment there, we will read it out on the show.
Morgan has to.
I have to. I'm
So
obliged.
you can
Contractually
say
obliged.
you can say the most ludicrous thing, and he will read it out.
One
He doesn't, he goes to court.
Only one person has advertised their business, and I think more people should be taking advantage of this free advertising space.
Yeah.
But yes, also you can support us by finding us on Patreon at Fabletop, where you can support us from as little as £3 a month, like some of our wonderful Patreons do. Also, if you'd like £15 off your first Empire ticket and you want to give us £15 as well, you can find our discount codes in the description below. Is there anything else? I think that is everything.
I think that is all, gang. So shall we roll out?
Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Goodbye. Bye.